let's shift gears a bit now. For the markets to function effectively, of course, we are not an isolated market. We are interlinked with other markets within the region, as well as outside our borders. And right now, there's a lot of global dynamics happening that could, in one or the other, impact the domestic market back home. For instance, we know of the deadly coronavirus that has really hit hard China, and it has affected a number of stocks in those markets. When you look at the threats for 2020, over and above what we are seeing in China and, of course, the global trade wars, how are all this likely to impact on investors back home?
So when you're an international market like ourselves, especially being a leading market in the frontier, the frontier market space, you're very vulnerable to the global events and what's happening globally. You're quite right. The issues around what's happening right now, the coronavirus, and a number of other issues like the trade issues happening globally, those do have a direct effect on us, because what happens is that the international fund managers, when there's a lot of uncertainty or risk in the markets, they do sort of what we call flight to safety. So they'll find themselves into government bonds in the developed markets. And that then sucks liquidity for us in the frontier markets. So that presents a challenge. However, within the profile of the international market, international investors, we do have frontier market investors who take a view that despite what happens, there has to be a certain allocation of monies that go to the frontier markets. So they do ensure that flow comes through. So our challenge is how to expand that pool, all right? If they're currently 50, how do we get that to 100? How many new funds can be created that can tap into the frontier market? So to achieve that, we have to ensure that we improve our ranking in the frontier market index. Both companies that are in that index and also the NSE as a market, the MSCI index. That's a very key benchmark that is actually assessed when you're looking at investing in markets. So we're working towards doing that, and we're working with the Capital Markets Authority to achieve certain milestones that we have set out under the master plan. For example, in the master plan, we had given ourselves a commitment to set up a derivatives market. We now have one in place. Correct. We had given our commitments to expand the product offering. We now have a total of 6 categories with 12 different products. Liquidity, upgrading the infrastructure. So we're ticking the boxes to improve our standing on the index. And that way, we will then be able to attract more frontier market funds, which will then mitigate the impact of a reliance on a few, because now you'll have a larger pool. So that is one area that we're really focusing on. There's a lot that we're trying to do locally. I think in terms of policy, there's a lot of policy submissions that we've made as an industry to just make the market more attractive. We really must thank the Capital Markets Authority and the government for giving us quite a lot, especially on the tax incentive programs, which is helping and makes our market really stand out compared to others in the region. And now it's how to convince issuers and investors to take advantage of these benefits. Like, for instance, if you list on the GEMS market as a company, you automatically get a 2-year waiver on interest and penalties on any arrears of tax that you have. Now that's a huge benefit that I think people need to understand, that it exists. Anybody with that kind of exposure can now take advantage of that opportunity in the market. Trading on the market is tax-free, which is good, and all these kind of things. So we must thank government has done their part. A lot more asks are in place because markets continuously want to ask for more, and we hope that we can get those in place. As the NSE as well, because we know that 80% of our trading income comes from trading, we must also cushion that. And how are we doing that? We are doing now more sales on our data business, trying to really increase that on training, and market education. And just looking for more partners and doing a lot of strategic programs with stakeholders in the industry. So as opposed to doing everything in-house, for instance, like training, we're partnering with universities. And I think this is how we'll be able to insulate our market from any risks that take place globally and make our markets continuously strong.
All right.
Right.
And Geoffrey, it was an eventful occasion when we saw the green bond being listed in London Stock Exchange.
Yeah.
And of course, this marked a major milestone not only for Kenya but for Africa. And of course, NSE being at the forefront there when it comes to having a robust market.
Yeah.
From where you sit, how does this play out, especially right now when we're seeing a lot of global attention towards climate change and markets generating products that investors can tap into when it comes to green financing?
Okay. So I must say that, first of all, is to really appreciate everybody who worked on this particular program. It's been a big program, and our Kenya Green Bonds program, who's patronized by the governor of the central bank and has a multiple number of stakeholders in that program, to really bring the first private sector listing on the London Stock Exchange from sub-Saharan Africa. That was a big win for us. It also speaks volumes about what potential we stand as a country to make a positive change to the global climate issues. So we are basically walking the talk, if I may use that term. And what it does, it has now shown that the NSE and the capital markets in general are able to provide you with an avenue for you as an organization to also play your part in addressing some of the challenges we face as a globe, especially around climate change. And we have come up, that was a good demonstration case for us, because what it has shown is that you can tap into this sustainable sort of funding that is now becoming a very, very big thing globally to really continuously build and tap on the opportunities that we have locally to support sustainable goals. We are members of the UN Sustainable Stock Exchange Initiatives, and this was a tangible case for us. So, for instance, what Econ did with that housing bond has now opened up the avenue for other potential issuers to look at the markets as really a way of tapping funding. It was a successful case in our view because it was coming off the back of a lot of challenges we were facing on corporate bonds.
Sure.
So then for them to have successfully listed and raised close to almost 85% of what they were looking for has now sort of given back some new impetus to investors to look at the corporate bond market again, but looking at different products.
All right.
So I must say it's a pride moment for us. We're very happy with what happened, and we look forward to more and more green bonds coming to the market. Even other structures like REITs can be done as green. So you're able to create many different products around the green framework, and it's been a very big thing for us.
All right. And Geoffrey, as we wrap up, of course, the current political situation in the country is very dicey when you look at the political undertones around the Building Bridges initiative. And to some extent, this also has an effect on the economy. For the youth out there who are, of course, trying to look out and scout for investment opportunities, and to the wider public, how is the NSE aligning itself towards providing products that they can be able to say they are pocket-friendly to this demographic in society, which are really saying, I have my 10,000 shillings, I have my 5,000 shillings. How do I plug into this great market that we have as a region?
Yes. One of the most important strategies we have is how to attract the youth into the market. With our close to 70% youthful population, that's really a good thing for the market, because it really speaks, or rather provides confidence about having what we're doing today will be really is very futuristic. How do we intend to bring in the youth into the market? The first thing, you must really resonate with what's trending with the youth. So the youth are currently very savvy on technology.
Yeah.
We cannot do our old traditional trading process, for instance, of going to broking houses, filling forms, etc.
Yeah.
We have to provide that trading front end on their phones.
Yeah.
And that's why we are really encouraging our trading members to all provide mobile USSD apps to actually provide avenue for for the youth to trade. So they need that access at a very comfortable level. They need information. So financial information, what's happening in the market, the trends, announcements, all this should find their way on some of the front end. And that's part of the opportunity we're doing. The youth also want momentum.
Sure.
So they want trading quick.
Yeah.
They want to make money
on the go.
On the go.
Yeah.
So in our new trading infrastructure, we have ability to do day trading, where I can take a position in the morning, midday, sell, probably buy again, and then do that end of close. Now, we are just finalizing on finishing closing a few issues around the trading front end and the back office, so that should happen seamlessly. And very soon, day trading will be a reality. That momentum they desire. They also need, that's why we also set up a derivatives market that enables you change your positions on a real-time basis, on a daily basis.
Sure.
So you don't have to wait for 3 days to get settlement to buy stock again. You're able to change positions day in, day out. So that momentum is very, very critical, and it's something that we are really trying to see how we can encourage youth. Financial education, very important, and that's why we're doing partnerships with the universities, because they have the clients, they have the infrastructure, we have the content. How do we merge those two? So that's another area that we're going to be working on, just to ensure we really strengthen this investment pool to come to the market.
All right.
So I must say that we're not oblivious of the political undertones. I think that's a reality, and we need to ride with that. We're fairly confident that Kenya is a very interesting country when it comes to political discourse.
Yeah.
So for now, we keep out. We wait for everybody to finish their conversations.
Okay.
But we are focused on continuously developing the market, building the client profiles, bringing the youth segment into the market. And you'll see a lot of programs coming together, working with media stations like yourselves. How do we deliver content to this important segment? So I must say, mine is just to say that the markets are really attractive for anybody, especially the youth. And it's an opportunity to buy.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Abby.
Much appreciated.
Pleasure.
Well, you've heard it from the captain that is steering this great ship here at the Nairobi Securities Exchange. That is Geoffrey Odundo, shooting from the hip. He's quite optimistic that 2020 portends a lot of great prospects, especially for the youth and, of course, for the retail investors at the exchange. Well, that has been a conversation with the CEO of the NSE. For now, I want to take a quick look at how the markets performed this week. Well, that was our conversation with the CEO of the Nairobi Securities Exchange, Geoffrey Odundo, and it brings us to the end of the program this day. Thank you for your valid feedback, and we definitely look forward to bringing you more exciting interviews in this year. For now, it is bye-bye. Have yourselves a lovely evening.